Son's first and last day of daycare. I've been sobbing for over an hour and feel like the worst possible mom. Today was my son's 13 months first day at daycare. I'd taken him school clothes shopping at a second-hand store, got him a new backpack, and equipped his diapers with intact "Don't Retract" stickers since I had heard horror stories about daycares and uncut babies. Look up your whole baby if you didn't know this for more explanations. On top of being worried about all that, I was worried about the fact that I've been exclusively breastfeeding his whole life. He hates bottles and sippy cups, but does okay with straws overall. I wasn't sure how he would adjust and was ready to make today a short day at daycare so we could get him acclimated. I bought a watch that allows for GPS tracking and one-way listening and put it in a button pocket on his pants. I wanted him to have this since the daycare doesn't have any kind of internal recording. And I'm generally just untrusting of adults alone with my son, probably due to a decade of working in a mental health clinic and hearing the worst horror stories of abuse you can imagine. We dropped him off and snuck out the door before he could see us, and I dialed into the watch to see how he was adjusting. He was sobbing like I've never heard before. I could hear him making himself sick from sobbing. I knew there would be an adjustment period. So I waited 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, still sobbing, more hysterically than ever. Nobody is comforting him. When we hit the 30-minute mark and finally somebody picked him up while saying, "Yeah, had a rough weekend" to other employee, I was so sick. It's all in my chest. Her voice was barely there, as if she was still actively sick. This is when I started to lose it. On top of not comforting him at all for a full 30 minutes. Now the person that finally picks him up is sick. Then she very quickly found the watch in his pocket. Not sure why she was searching his pockets and brought it to the director, who said to put it in his bag. I'd heard enough. I went over with my husband and had him go inside to get our son. He had been there 40 or 45 minutes by this point. My husband said, when he went in, that they were like us so soon. But he was doing great, and then mentioned he couldn't have the tracker and they put it in his bag. He was still crying when my husband got him, and he's been clinging to me ever since. I emailed the director already asking to unenroll him. I thought I was ready for him to go to daycare, but not if this is how it is going to be. I have no way to make sure my son isn't being harmed throughout the day, and got a taste of him being completely ignored for over 30 minutes. I know daycares have a lot of kids and attachment issues are to be expected, but surely this is below average treatment. Right, TL? Doctor sent my son to first day of daycare. Listen to him get ignored for over 30 minutes and then was only picked up by someone who said she's been extremely sick. Then they removed his GPS tracker and said he couldn't have it. But they don't have cameras that record internally. Edit for some of the common questions and or comments I'm getting. 1. I live in a one-party consent state. After reading the comments, I can see that the GPS thing may have been overboard, but it's not illegal here. 2. I've been looking for a daycare that has cameras that allow me to remote in and check on him. I have solely been looking for that, but don't think it exists where I live. 3. Daycare was my idea. I want him out of the house for a few hours here and there so I can get some work and schoolwork done without distractions since I'm kind of drowning. RN. 4. Yes, I do have mental health issues. Thanks for rubbing those in. Almost a decade in the military and I've been on the VAS waitlist for therapy since May. And that's after I called last year to try to get into therapy. And they told me that basically my mental health wasn't bad enough for therapy, since they are overwhelmed with people with worse issues than me. Soonest appointment I could get is in October. I've been on Zoloft for a few years and recently started Wellbutrin. 5. I just left because they suggested that and said it's usually better for kids if they don't see you leave. I was trusting them since they're the experts and I'm new at this. Thanks to those that were genuinely helpful and kind. And a big middle finger to those that decided to just insult me instead of being helpful and giving me actual advice. thanks to those that did give me helpful advice, even if it meant disagreeing with some of my choices. I'm all for hearing different perspectives and have gotten some genuinely good advice for going forward.